And welcome to a new episode of Let's Talk About Local Politics. It feels like I haven't been here for a long time because last week we had the interview on Monday. Now it really feels like it was ages ago. But today we have a beautiful young man. We can get him on. His name is Ashish Bhargava. And I've known this young guy for many years, or I think all his life. Let's see, why is he not coming? Can take a few seconds. See? So he's 18 years old and he's raised in Eidsvoll. And let's see if he can get him in. I already invited him. I accepted. And he is up for election in the local politics. Something wrong with this video today. Trying to go live with him. Not able to join. Ashish, if you can go live with your phone, I hope you're not. There you are! Yay! Look at this handsome boy. Isn't he handsome? Welcome to our show, and I'm so happy that you're here. Yes. So everybody, this is Ashish Bhargava, and as I said to you all, I've known him all his life, and it's so amazing that you are so active. Before we go ahead and talk about politics, I want you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes, I can. Well, I'm a 18-year-old boy, born and raised here in Eidsvoll, the constitutional municipality in Akershus County. And I go to school at Eidsvoll's upper secondary school. And I also play some football on the side. But the main reason that I'm here is that I am a candidate for the Eidsvoll Center Party for these local elections now in September.
Okay, this is so amazing. I love when young people are active politically and, to want to make a difference. But what made you choose Center Party?
The main reasons being that I followed our leader Trygve for a long time on social media, and also I often watched his appearances on television, mainly the debate, especially in the lead up to the elections. The elections in 2017, I think, when I went.
But then you were pretty young in 2017. You must be pretty young, and to be so active in a very young age, that's amazing.
Yes, I was 12 years at the time, I think, and that's when I really started to follow politics. And it was in collaboration with the school. You know, we always watched the debates and we learned about all of the different political parties in Norway. And then I started to learn more about the Centre Party, and I really liked hearing Trygve speaking in debates or even the message of the party, and I started to follow them. And after the local elections here in Eidsvoll in 2019, where the Eidsvoll Center Party became the biggest party, then I joined the party here in December of 2019, and I haven't looked back since.
Now, I mean, yes, and there is one saying, Ashish for president.
Yeah.
I guess he's a fan of yours. But yeah, why not? I mean, of course, this is a local election where we cannot vote you in as a president, but maybe in the future, you might be our bright future. This is so amazing. So tell us a little bit about your party. What is it? What is the main focus of Centre Party, especially locally, because you are up for local elections?
One of the main issues that the Centre Party has throughout the country is that we want to provide high quality services close to the people in the whole of Norway. For example, here in Eidsvoll, the Center Party wants us to keep our schools and further develop them, and have schools in the small areas, but also develop the schools in other areas as well. We need to keep our schools and not shut them down. Having high quality health services in the entire municipality and provide good health services to all of the citizens in Eidsvoll.
Yeah, but when it comes to the education and so on, because people with Indian background are overly enthusiastic about education, what would you say that how is Center Party working on, giving a better education in the schools that are already there? Because what I see and hear every day is that some of the children are very talented, but what has been the norm is to keep the talented people where they are and not, help them grow. Whereas focus has been on the people pupil who have been a little bit weak in schools. But are there any things you will be able to do when it comes to that, raise the quality a little bit?
Yes, and I think it's a very complicated issue, this of the Norwegian schools. But one of the things that I see, and especially me being a pupil right now, I think that we need more practical learning in our schools that actually benefits us further in life. Being in maths, where we can learn more about our about how it is to balance a budget, or how it is to have a safe and a healthy economy. I think that's very important. But also practical learning in being that you have to, in arts class, that you have the right tools and the right facilities to have fun and actually learn to make things. And I think that's very important. Of course, we need doctors and we need nurses and we need teachers, but we also need people who can build stuff. We also need electricians, and that's very important. We need to make our schools a place where everybody can learn and everybody can achieve their dreams. Even if you want to be a doctor, a nurse, an electrician, the opportunities should be endless for our children. And I think it's very have good enough schools in the entire country who has the right facilities and who has the right teachers to actually help our students.
Yeah, I think you're onto something very, very important, that the teachers is also, who have been through the whole school, done our education. We'll always remember the best teachers or the worst teachers. I had this worst teacher in that subject. That's why I hate that subject. Whereas I had this beautiful or talented teacher in this subject. That's why I love that subject. So what is Center Party's focus when it comes to teachers? And because I know that it is a challenge for a lot of teachers to stay in that job, because with the economy changing so rapidly, people who are qualified, they choose to leave the schools and go into private sectors just to get a better income. And then we are unqualified teachers into the schools, and so what's the more fast food? Yeah, well, I don't think we need more fast food, but I can't really say SPE is really concerned with fast foods either. Probably not.
But when it comes to teachers, as you said, but I think it's very important to help the unqualified teachers actually become qualified and stay in our school system. And it's very important to have the right resources in the schools so that teachers can stay teachers and don't have to, break up fights or be amateur psychologists for the students. That we have the right people to, help the students as a psychologist, we need more school psychologists or school nurses, and it's very important that we have that so that the teachers can focus on being teachers and not something else. And I think that really help our schools here in Norway. And I see that, when I went to barneskole and ungdomsskole and in Eidsvoll, I saw that having resources to unload the pressure off teachers was very important. And I think that's
amazing. I love that thought, and I love that way of working, that people who already love being teachers, how to help them become qualified teachers. I love that. So you are active in school debates and so on. Tell us a little bit more about the debates, and how do you run these kind of things, and why do you do it?
So that's actually something special we have here in Scandinavia, the school debates. In many countries, you don't have school debates at all, but here in Scandinavia, we do have them. And school debates are simply debates between all of the major parties here in Norway, so all of the parties represented in the Storting. They send their youth parties' representatives to go the debate, and we actually debate issues like school policy, for example, the fraværsgrense or utstyrsstipend, or on other general subjects like climate change, economy, and whatever the students are actually care about. Students are allowed to pick a lot of the subjects for the debates at many schools, and we see that, for example, I went to Strømmen videregående and I had a debate there, and there's a lot of yrkesfaglærere there, and they actually chose the subjects of lærlingplasser and utstyrsstipend, so subjects very relevant for them. And I think it's important that we let the students pick the subject so that they can hear the different parties' opinions on those subjects, and maybe motivate the students to actually vote in the school elections or even the local or Stortings elections when they happen.
And this is the first time you're in the list for what is the position that you will go in for? You're going for Senterparti, but what position? Kommune?
Yes, it will be the municipality council. So the people that actually have the power in the council or in the municipality and make decisions and.
I'll let you know later. We'll talk some other time, and I'll let you know. But today it's Ashish's platform, so it's his introduction today, not mine. But yeah. And so, what are the subjects that you will be forwarding once you're in the what do you call it, council? Once you're in the council, what are the most important, what are the most burning subjects that you're gonna forward? Not just about the students, but what else?
I think it's very important, if I get elected, that we focus on our schools. And as I said, that we have the resources in our schools to let teachers be teachers. And we have other educated people to, for example, be the psychologists or the school nurse. Other areas is to support our sports around the Eidsvoll. They need the amount of money to actually further develop their sports and further develop young talents. And I think that's very important here in Eidsvoll. And another thing that I think is very important is that we have a good tilbud for youth, and for them to actually, for example, that can be buses and trains. Eidsvoll is very close to
the infrastructure. You're talking more about the infrastructure and the collective transport.
Yes, and that's something that we really need to focus on, the collective transport, and especially our buses in many parts of Eidsvoll don't even have a bus service, and I think that's very horrible. We need to develop all of Eidsvoll, not just parts of it, but the whole municipality.
Yes, I I truly believe so. And I think more people would want to move out to Eidsvoll if they have easy access to transport, because not everybody drives cars, but I love the nature in Eidsvoll. And I would, also actually consider moving there if there had been easier way to travel and not just by car. So yeah, Deepika has thumbs up: school politics, sports, youth benefits, and infrastructure. So this is amazing. You are covering a lot of important topics. And so do you have any suggestions, any advice for the people who are first time voting in Norway? Because there are many people who are new to Norway but are still able to vote for the very first time. So what kind of advice do you have for them?
I think it's very important for people to actually read the different parties' manifestos, especially here where it's about the local issues. I think it's very important to know what your local parties actually believe or want to fight for their case in the local council. And I also think that there are some topics that I think are very important in this election. One of them is to have these services, the good services, close to people in all of Norway. If that can be schools, good enough schools, health, or even, as we spoke about earlier, collective transport. But it's also very important that we provide Norwegian food in our schools, in our canteens. And of course, we can also have, when I say Norwegian food, I mean Norwegian produce. You can make Indian food with Norwegian produce just fine. You can make a butter chicken with in Norwegian chicken, and you can use
Of course.
course. But I think it's very important to support our farmers here in Norway because of they do an unimaginable amount of work, and they get very little for it. And I think it's very that we elevate some of these sectors here in Norway. But I
think so. I think it's very important because again, that goes back to our financial situation, and if we use more Norwegian produced products and food, we will generate more income, and again, it will benefit us again, and instead of bringing in food from other places. So I think these are very space is district party farmer sector. Yes, it is. Thank you. Is there anything you want to touch more upon? You've been amazing in touching upon all of these important subjects. And as we have said before in this program, if you have the right to vote, use your vote, because you can change your own future, but you can also help change the country. And there's no question about it. If you live in Eidsvoll, you know who to vote for. That's Ashihs. Nobody else can give your issues better voice than Ashish. I wish I lived in your county district. I really wish I lived in your district. You would have gotten my vote, definitely gotten my vote. And I bet my whole family would have just said, no, we're going to vote for him, because you're amazing, and the way you work and the way you touch people. Ashish for mayor. Yes, definitely Ashish for mayor. Just recently I had one of the youngest mayor ever in Norway, Jonas Andersen. He lives in Stavanger. He's also half Indian. So, but if you become mayor at 18, then you beat his record. Let's see if we're able to do this. You never know.
Yeah.
So you never know. So.
But actually, before we end this, I think it's we in Akershus we have three very important issues in this school election that I want to touch upon, and that's the first thing. We want people to be able to take their driver's license as a subject in school, as a subject in elementary, because that was a thing before many years ago, but the government then replaced it with something else, and I think very bad. I think students are very, I think for students to be able to take their license at school, I think that's a very good thing. It will help them in their future endeavors in work. And another thing that we think is very important is to have free, warm school meals. I think that's very, very important for students.
Yeah.
First thing is we need to replace this fraværsgrense with something more with something more just for the students. Maybe let the students send a message themselves to the teachers and say, I'm sick, so that they don't have to go to the doctors, because a lot of the time the doctors don't have time for sick students, and I think that's very bad.
Okay, so don't you think that a lot of students will misuse this opportunity if let's say they get this responsibility that, okay, if you are this age, you can just send it. If you're 18, you can just send the message yourself, and you don't need the backup of a doctor's what do you call it, note from the doctor. Don't you think the students will misuse that power?
And thought of that. We think of having something like you have at work with sick days, so that you can have these egenmeldingdager, for example, 10 days. And if you go, if you have used up all of those 10 days, then you need to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But you the students have that safety of having 10 days that they can be sick and that they don't have to go to the doctor. And I think that's very important.
That is doable. But also because once you're into the high school, the college and the university, nobody really cares if you come or not. You are responsible for your own education, right? So yeah, I think that will be giving the youngsters the responsibility under freedom. The freedom under responsibility. Sorry. Yeah.
And I think it's very important that school actually prepares students for adult life and for work life, so that if we have a ordning that reflects arbeidslivet, also the work life, with being the sick days, and I think that will benefit the students a lot.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Ashish. This has been very enlightening, very educational. And as I said, I wish I lived in your county, because you would definitely have gotten my vote. And all with the thumbs ups, I can see it. Deepika would have given her her vote too. I'm not able to talk today, so it's good that you kept on talking. So I'm not able to pronounce it right, but yeah, you understand what I mean. Thank you for doing all this amazing work. You are an amazing bride, a young man, and I really hope to see the result that you are in the county. What do you call it?
County council.
County council, yes. And that you are destined for more, that's for sure. And I hope we will be able to vote for you in Stortinget one day. I hope so. Yeah, I really hope so. And I am crossing my fingers and hoping that you become mayor, definitely. Very, very soon. Then I can boost. I know another mayor. So thank you so much. And everybody, the elections are soon upon us, 11th of September. But you are able to do the voting before already now. It's open. So if you haven't done it yet, you can go and do it. And make sure that you know which party is resonating with your what do you call idealism, your needs, who is meeting your needs, and who is voicing your issues, right? And find the person in each party that connects with you. And it's easy to connect with them in Norway. So go up, and if you're confused, you can always vote till 8th of September. Pre-vote until 8th of September. So that means you have to hurry up And remember to use your vote. And thank you again, Ashish, and thank you, Deepika, for giving all these comments. And have a lovely evening, everybody. Bye.
Bye bye.